8 o'clock special. Yes, obviously you can see I'm not Mr. Goldbridge. Goldbridge is off sunning it up, taking some time out with the family, but loads to talk about in this hour. Listen, I've got to start Jadon Sancho. We've got to talk about Raul Jiminez potentially to Manchester United. Solskjaer potentially looking for a centre half as well, and Gabriel. We've got to talk about that. A lot to get through. So look, we've got to start at Jadon Sancho. We've got to start there. And the reports coming in from the Independent, fairly credible, is that Sancho could be coming to Manchester United for an initial fee of £60 million. So you're thinking, what's going on? You're thinking, how's that happening? Why is that going to happen? And you're looking at it like this. We always knew that what Dortmund are asking for. They're asking for pretty much 100 million. We've known that all along. Then we get the reports of Dortmund kind of refusing to budge on that no coronavirus discount. And then we arrive at a thing where it says £60 million. Now, what they're actually reporting in the Independent, they say Dortmund will accept an initial £60 million for a package that ultimately rises to over £100 million, although there is still a distance regarding the pay plan thereafter and how much that will be. So it's not going to be 60 million and they want to get rid of him quickly and that's all Manchester United have to play. It's going to be in installments. We already know that. That's what it's going to have to be, like a Pepe thing. Yeah, you know, most clubs pay things in installments and add-ons, you know, and they're going to be achievable add-ons. You can imagine that those add-ons are going to look something like, once he reaches a certain amount of appearances in the Champions League appearances, goals, do you know what I mean? Things like that. Could even be assists and things like that and add-ons. So look, it doesn't surprise me. You're starting to see Dortmund trying to generate that kind of media circus to get like a bidding war, a bargaining war, saying that maybe Chelsea are interested, saying that Bayern Munich are interested. We've heard them many times before that we are in a one-horse race. You know, Liverpool flirted with the idea but can't afford him. He's not going to go back to Manchester City. I just can't see that. Chelsea, not really in their plans with who they've bought. We're in a one-horse race. So Dortmund can try all they want. They can try and manipulate the situation. It's bargaining. There's been no official contact between the two clubs in terms of the ball rolling on in personal terms and anything like that. But if we're thinking about it, it's been set in stone. Manchester United want Jadon Sancho, and Jadon Sancho wants to come to Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano has been saying that. Loads of people have been saying that. We know that. So, you know, smash a like on the video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Someone said Mark is in Marbella. He's definitely not. Mark is on the piss, he says. Super chat coming in here. So Mr. Otis says, better off getting Adama as well from Wolves. Interesting there. The thing is with the Sancho thing is we know how much we need him. And I don't think that we're going to let this opportunity pass us by. We can't. You look at the way Chelsea are buying, right? And they've gone straight in for the kill. Straight in for the kill. And no matter what you think, whether you think Jadon Sancho is worth the money or he's not worth the money, the fact is that we need him and he's going to make an instant impact. Me and KG spoke about the impact that Sancho could make in this United squad, what it would mean for other players inside the squad. We went through that. But I don't think Manchester United can afford to miss up on this opportunity. So I'm fairly relaxed. You know, you're talking about them putting in that Dortmund wanting to get it done by early August because that's when they go back to their training and stuff like that. And I get that. But at the end of the day, the £60 million thing, we know it's not £60 million straight up. It's got to be add-ons. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, you saw my interview with James Cooper when he said, look, the format of this deal, given that it's COVID-19 has happened and given, you know, the difference in the market, the format of the deal is going to have to look a lot different. You know, where we would have paid a lot more maybe up front, we are going to do something like 60, 70 million now. You take that, and then in 12 months, we give you this. Or after Sancho hits this amount of appearances / goals, it's this. So, you know, that's where we're at. Someone just said, is this a pre-record? No, it's not a pre-record. We are definitely live, so your comments will get read out. If you've got any super chats, let us know, or any comments I will be interacting with. Wanted to get one here, actually. It is. Flex, did you see Rashford and Sancho's Instagram post? It is definitely happening, says Stephen. I did see that. And look, I think there was a more powerful message behind that, but you couldn't help but look at it. They both posted it on their social media platforms. The brand's behind it, and, you know, the campaign that it is, you know, you can't stop us, you know, they put. And Rashford posted on his, hold on to Sancho, giving it that, and Sancho posted it on his. I do think that's a bit of a coincidence, but you can't help but looking into it. You can't help but looking into it. We're all. Someone said to me that, oh, Flex, Sancho's plane, he's going away on holiday, it's landing at Luton. Can you get up there? What's happening? It's just mental. Like, you know what it's like. This is going to drag on and drag on. And there you have City going for Aki, which we're talking about a little bit later on when we talk about our defensive intentions in the market. Who just, you know, they got that winger from Spain, 20 million, bang, done. Looks like they're going to get Aki, 41 million, bang, done. Maybe that's the when you have a director of football, you know, who knows? So I think it's really interesting looking at that Sancho thing for me, because when you see the 60 million, I'm like, hang on a minute, 60 million? We're not going to get him for 60 million. And you go on to read and you kind of see what they're getting at, which is what we kind of always thought. I never thought Manchester United up front are going to go, here's 110 million for Jadon Sancho. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. I think it's going to go close to that after the add-ons. But in this current climate, I think we're in a strong position. We know that Sancho wants to come. Dortmund are saying they are relaxed because of, you know, he's got 2 years left in his contract. They'll happily keep him this year and sell him cheaper next year. But I don't know, I just can't see that happening. They're going to want to keep on wanting to play. You're seeing Dortmund looking at replacements as well and alternatives. So I can't really see that happening. I can't. A lot of people saying that Mark is on the piss. And why do you not always just assume that he's drunk? Unless he's been on his social media putting it up. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Nearly 15,000 people watching live. Just got to over 14,000. That is mad. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And if you are just joining us, obviously Sancho to United for £60 million. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Basically, what we're saying is that 60 million up front with many add-ons, to be honest. I mean, let us know in the comments what you think about that. Should we still be going for Sancho? I don't think there's any United fan who thinks we shouldn't. Even Ricky would agree with that, and he's very pragmatic with his approach. Johnny White says, who do you think United compared to other top Premier League? Why do you think United compared to other top Premier League teams take so long to get deals done? It's frustrating to see other teams getting gains quick. You know what? With that, thanks for that, Johnny White. Thanks for the contribution. It brings us on to the next subject. Actually, we're still going to be, you know, talking about Sancho, but it's always a media circus around Manchester United. Half of it is to do with the fact that we're just Man United, hated, adored, never ignored, linked with every man and his dog. We have to pay, you know, big prices, inflated prices for players because we're Man United. That's just what it is. We always have done that. And then you look at the structure that we were in for a director of football for so long, and you look at how City move, you look at how Chelsea are moving, you look at how Liverpool move. They've got their directors of football, and it's like their deals get done very quickly. Chelsea, they want to sign Werner. It happens. Quick, bang, bang, bang. Chelsea, in for Havertz. Talk's still happening now. Looks like it's almost certainly going to happen. Ziyech, over the line, bang. Their moves happen very quickly and executed with precision. And for me, that never really seems to happen at Manchester United. We always seem to get a saga where it's drawn out and almost where the gloss is taken out. Do you know what I mean? The gloss is taken out. I don't really understand that. For me, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And maybe if we do get a director of football, it will change. Maybe it will, because you're looking at how quickly other people execute deals with a director of football in place, and it happens a lot quicker. I want to see that. Harold says, you are awesome, but use this and the other super chat money on a proper microphone, Flex. Listen, my microphone is actually sick. Yeah, that is top-notch microphone. But I'm in an echoey room. So what I'm actually going to do is unplug the microphone or change it so that you guys can maybe not hear that. Oh, actually, it's not going through that. That's why. You should be able to hear me a lot better now, actually. It was going through the bloody webcam. There you go. Thanks for that. It's all about constructive criticism. That's what I'm here for. I love that. I'm not going to get on my high horse. Give me a little thumbs up in the comments if you're hearing me more loud and clear now, because I've actually got the mic on. That's what I want to see. Vinit says, do you think United need to make a separate team of negotiators, separate from Woodward, who need to focus on getting the dead wood out? Interested. Maybe not. Well, they need to. I think they need to delegate. Maybe not a separate team, but maybe just improve the team. Do you know what I mean? Improve that team that do that, because I think it would work quicker. I think it would work more decisively. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, why can't we ever go, we're in for Bruno Fernandes, a week later he signed. We're in for Wan-Bissaka, a week later he signed. Harry Maguire dragged out. Paul Pogba dragged out. Lukaku kind of dragged out. It's like every single transfer, especially the high profile ones, we just can't seem to get them done quickly. And that does annoy me. It does get annoying. Woodward has got a lot of praise, to be fair, in the recent transfer windows, because he's bought well. You know, he's backed Ollie. And that's what it is about this window. We can't, that's why I don't think we're going to get this wrong, because we're in the perfect position here where we either invest again and go again strong and kick on to the next level, or we stay where we are, or we could even regress. You know, and that for me would be a problem. We've got to back Ollie in this window. We've got to get this right. Do you know what I mean? T Santana says no more prison microphone and gives me an okay. Yeah, I didn't realize I had it on the wrong one. Nearly at 16,000 watching live. That is sick. There is a newest member of the United Stand Members Club. That is Sarah Bob. Big up to you. I'm trying to go through you guys' super chats here as well. This is from Shyam. It says, bro, how would a director matter if Woodward is the one who is finally going to approve it? Fair point, but I think if Woodward maybe had extra help in that area and more expertise, I think that it would be forced. I think he'll be forced to listen, you know. And like I said, there's much stick as Ed Woodward's got, and yes, we do stall on deals. You can't argue with the business that we've done recently, and that's not me taking away from how we were performing before that and the type of recruitment, because it was awful, and all the criticism Ed Woodward and just the club in general and the way it was run before Ollie got here was right to be criticised. You know, don't let anyone tell you're a fake fan for saying that, because you're not. But also, you've got to give credit where credit's due, and the way we've been in the last couple of windows have been really good. Nacho Nova says, Flex, can you call me a prat? Nacho Nova, you're prat. Don't know why you actually want me to call man a prat, but it's done. Do you know what? We're going to keep it moving now as well. And I want to get on to Raul Jiminez. Now, if you lot watch the United Stand avidly, which I know you do, I rate Raul Jiminez very, very highly. I really do. I think he's a fantastic player, especially when you see him live as well. You see what he offers. He's a proper number 9. He's strong. He's relatively quick for how big he is. His touch is impeccable, the way he looks after the ball. He's a deadly finisher. He's good in the air, and he just brings people into play. That's 6 things. What a big hand. Anyway, that's 6 things that I've just noted there. He is a proper centre forward. But the only problem with that is, I mean, what we're hearing from Portuguese outlets is that Paulinho to Braga looks like it's on. Paulinho from Braga to Wolves looks like it's on. And then it's going to be imminent that Jimenez goes to Manchester United. Now, I do like Jimenez, but I can't see that happening. Because I look at what Ollie's done with Martial. Look at how he's morphed him and kind of molded him out of the clay that Martial is into the Ollie striker. And Martial stepped up to the plate. Can I see Ollie going to get Raul Jimenez to replace Martial? No, I can't see that. I don't know what you guys think, but I can't see that. Can I see Raul Jimenez at this stage of his career smashing it at Wolves, saying, I'll go to Man United now in the summer when they got Igalo on the bench, potentially going to have one of Rashford / Greenwood on the bench. So Martial's still going to be playing in the middle. I can't see it. I just think that's a bit far-fetched. Would I take Raul Jimenez? I would, because he's a good player, but he doesn't actually fit into where we are right now. I think we've done so well this season to kick on. Raul Jimenez doesn't really fit into that. Do you know what I mean? Lily says that Jimenez would be a rotational player. I get that. You know, Raul Jimenez coming off the bench would be great. I definitely agree with that. I just can't see him doing that. I can't. I don't think he's going to want to come and play second fiddle at Manchester United. And I know people say we're Man United. He should think, you know, going to Man United is a step up from Wolves. No disrespect to them, but it is. And he should want to sit there. But Raul Jimenez is the best part of 28, 29 now. And I can't see that happening personally. Extras E says, Raul,
is a no-brainer. I'm guessing you don't mean the Real Madrid Raul who retired a long time ago. I'm guessing you mean Jiminez. We bought Berbatov when we had Rooney and Tevez. We were in the Champions League and depth is crucial. Look at City's attack; it's stacked. I hear that. I do agree with that in terms of we need the depth. I just don't think Raul Jiminez would do it. If you're him, you're thinking, well, I'll just stay at Wolves and compete for Champions League again and try and kick on, rather than go and sit on the bench at Man United. I just can't see it happening, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm a big admirer of him, and pretty much everyone is there. Everyone knows how good he is. Do you know what I mean? He's a proper striker, but I can't see that. Mark Whitten says Raul will be a January deal when Ighalo goes. That would make more sense, because even with the Ighalo thing, I thought we should have signed him for the year, because when it gets to January and he leaves, unless they extend it, we're going to be in the same situation where if Mason gets an injury, if Martial gets an injury, we're not going to have a striker. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that could make sense maybe in January. Maybe it could. Do you think we should sell Mata, Sanchez, Smalling, Lingard, Pereira, Dalot in one window, says Vinit. Thanks for the contribution there. Only if you can get replacements in. We don't want to leave ourselves too threadbare. We've been in that position before. So no, I wouldn't do that all in one go, unless there was going to be guarantees that they were going to replace those players. Do you know what I mean? We were interested in Timo Werner. How is Jiminez different, or how would have Timo Werner fit in with Martial? Same thing again. I mean, Timo Werner is a fantastic player, proper number 9 as well, proper forward. I just feel that Martial's the favourite. Martial's grabbed that shirt with 2 hands, scrunched it tight, put it in his grasp and said, no one ain't having it. It's as simple as that. You look how he's been playing this year. There's been so many reservations about, well, we're going to need a proper striker at some point. We're going to need someone who gets us 20 goals per season. We're going to need someone who is more prolific than Martial. And it's like Martial just went, forget that. I'll show you lot what's good. Do you know what I mean? I'm on it. I'll show you how much I can change. I'll show you how clinical I can be with the right environment around me. And Ollie's got that out of him. So I think Ollie sees him as his number 1. I can't see Ollie switching up on that. I really can't. Jiminez could be the new Javier Hernandez for us. Maybe better, says Darth Maul, deserved better. Whole title, the Star Wars gang. I never watched Star Wars and never seen it. Never will. But there is that kind of romanticization because he's Mexican. Is he Mexican? Yeah, he's Mexican, isn't he? Like Javier Hernandez, and I can't see it. I just can't see it. He could be a good signing, but I think that the ship has sailed, as they say. Simon replied to me on Twitter saying, Raul is not true. Now we might get Josh King and for cheap. Do you rate Buendia? He is so creative, maybe better than Jack. I'm not having him as better than Jack Grealish. I think he's all right, but he's not better than Jack Grealish. And by Simon, thanks for the contribution, Darsha. And by Simon, I'm guessing you mean Simon Peach. I don't know if he's been on Twitter saying it's not true, but that pretty much squashes that, really, doesn't it? To be honest. And yeah, so to finish off on Raul Jiminez, I don't think we're going to get him. I can't see it. Another contribution here. It says, Steak and Eggs. Hernandez says, I like Jiminez, but a guy like Dembele who could play some games as a backup for 16 million less would be ideal. What's your opinion? Yeah, I just think with the backup situation, if you get Sancho, it frees up Greenwood to play backup or start, depending on what game it is, to Martial and Sancho. Do you know what I mean? Or Rashford if he's having a bad game or he's injured. So Sancho's the key. I think what I've said this, to finish off on the Raul Jiminez before we move on, I've said this all along. Martial, Rashford, Sancho, right, has enough goals in it, clearly, because if you add Sancho into that front three, you're guaranteed more goals, more chances, more assists. It just, the productivity goes up. So I think the need for an out-and-out number 9, because there was one point where we were saying at one point you're going to need like an Aguero type, a Lewandowski, a Harry Kane, a number 9 that's going to guarantee you X amount of goals. 1, Rashford, Martial stepped up, and 2, I think if you get that fluent front three with a Sancho, we don't need it. And I think that's what I mean. That's where we're at now. Timo Werner passed by. Not interested. Manchester United, not interested. Jiminez, potentially. No, not interested. The boat has sailed. Kai Havertz, not in for him. We just don't need that type of player right now. For me, I think there's enough goals in Martial. I think there's going to be enough goals in Sancho when he comes. And I think there's going to be enough goals in Rashford. Personally, that's what I think. So we're going to move on from that, from the Raul Jimenez situation. I can't see it's happening. I like the player. I rate the player highly, but I can't see it happening. I really can't. Sancho, centre midfielder and a centre back. You said it there. That's what we got. That's what we got to be looking at. And speaking of centre backs, Brazilian Gabriel. Now, listen, it's apparently Manchester United are monitoring the situation closely. Sky Sports have reported. PSG have now come in for him. He plays for Lille. And look, I'm not going to do a KG and say I know everything about him. I'm not going to do a KG and admit that I ain't seen him play. I ain't seen him kick a ball. But I'm pissed off he won't come to Manchester United. But I did do a little bit of a KG in terms of thinking, right, I don't know much about this kid. He's 22, so I thought, let me do a bit of research. I know Mark put out on Twitter to see what type of centre-back is he? What type of defender is he? Is he quick? Is he slow? Is he powerful? Is he strong? Is he good on the ball? Is he a great tackler? And it was mixed. I think the truth is a lot of people don't know. There's going to be a lot of people going, I've been watching him for ages. And fair play if you watch the French league in and out like that. I'm never going to come on here and talk shit to you lot in terms of lies. Yeah. If I don't know who a player is or I have no clue what they're about, guess what? I'm just going to say it. I'm not perfect. I'm not a professional analyst in football. I'm a fan just like you guys. So I can only give my opinion. And I can't have an opinion on someone I ain't seen. However, what I do know about him after doing a bit of research, he plays in the Brazilian national team. He plays for Lille. Found it difficult early on in Lille, but ended up cementing himself in there. Took them to the Champions League as well, I think for the first time in a long while for them. Might have been the first time in their history as well, if I'm not mistaken. But Everton made a bid for him in the summer. Napoli are in for him now. And PSG have now entered the fray as well. So, some decent teams in for him. And it's interesting, really, isn't it? Because all season we've had this kind of inquest that started from the off, really. As soon as it kind of went a bit pear-shaped early on in the season, the inquest into the partnership between Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. And a lot of it, I think, was unfairly labelled at Lindelof. Everyone's saying that he, wasn't the right guy for Maguire. He's too weak. He's too that. Then there was a bit of an inquest on Maguire, depending on how you look at it. Maguire's not this. He's not that. He shouldn't have cost 80 million, etc., etc. Then Eric Bailly coming in, not being fit. We haven't seen Tuanzebe pretty much all season, if not all season. Then we've got the Deadwood centre-halves that are out. Even Chris Smalling, to be fair to him, calling him Deadwood, but he's doing really well. Roma, he's out. Phil Jones is Phil Jones. Marcus Rojo out on loan. So we've got a really top-heavy situation in the centre-backs, but not really much quality, or not. We're not blessed with huge quality in terms of being able to put it out. Bailly with his injuries, you could say the quality's there, but the service isn't there. And could I see us going in for him? Look, Mark spoke about people not going in, trusting the kind of European scouts. We spoke about it on the Premier League show. We always want the English mentality and going for those players where the premium's really high. But if you trust, your European scouts and do a little bit of research, the quality of player and value of player is a lot higher. Not always the quality, but definitely the value. So I'll throw it to you guys. I mean, I looked at a couple of YouTube videos on him. He looks quick. He looks strong. He looks decent on the ball. Likes to switch from left to right. That long kind of marauding ball, kind of like what Rojo used to do all the time. Aggressive in the tackle. But I watched 5 minutes on YouTube. I'm not about to say to you lot, he's what we need. Get rid of Lindelof. We need Gabriel from Lille. He's fantastic. That's not my job to say that. But at 20 million, it doesn't seem like a huge gamble on that price. And decent teams are after him. Ancelotti at Everton is a top manager, and he sees him as good enough. And I know people might say, if he's good enough for Everton, we shouldn't be going for him. It doesn't always work like that. I'm talking about the tactical nous of Ancelotti. He knows defenders. He's a proper manager. PSG, top team, and they've got Thiago Silva, I think, coming to the end of his time there. So, Brazilian for Brazilian, they're trying to do. So if he's already playing in France and PSG come knocking, maybe I want to go there. But what is interesting is the fact that, are we going to be in for a centre-half? You saw Aki looks like he's potentially going to go to Manchester City for £41 million. Now, loads of people on Twitter, I didn't really get it. Loads of people on Twitter, this is where the difference in opinion comes. I think Mark didn't really see the value in it as well. He was like, glad we didn't go for him at 41. It's way too much. Bournemouth have been relegated. I didn't really see it like that. I mean, one, it's City and they got loads of money, so they're not going to care. You know, it's less than what they paid for John Stones. Two, I think the fact that Bournemouth have gone down, they still need to hustle. They still need to reinvest in their squad. And it doesn't change the fact that I think Aki is a 30 to 40 million pound player, roughly, I'd say. I would have taken him for a snip at 20 million, but I was never convinced that how much of a step up he is from Lindelof. You might laugh or might say, nah, for sure, he's this, he's that. But I would have taken a gamble for 20 million, but nowhere near for 40. But I don't think that is like a mad statement. I don't think that's out of this world. I mean, what do you guys think? I'm not really having that, to be honest. I don't think that's a massive price. Vishwanaf says, get Torres from Villarreal and give them back Bailly. Interesting. I know that City are trying to obviously go for that player. And Napoli as well, you're looking at Koulibaly potentially leaving as well. So that's another reason why they could be in for Gabriel. So a lot going on with Gabriel in terms of what he's going to do, where he's going to go. But the story was Manchester United are monitoring the situation. It was nowhere near, you know, he's definitely going to come or anything like that. But, you know, Aki, I mean, what do you guys think about Aki? Do you think we should have done that? DM7 says Aki for 41 million with a kind of surprise face. So not for him. I want to know what you guys think. Graham McIntosh says Aki isn't that good. Rather Vertonghen on a free. Vertonghen people mentioned as well. I'm not having that. I'm not. I wouldn't have Vertonghen. I think he's past it. I think we're past that. Getting in players at the end of their careers. No disrespect to Vertonghen's been a great servant for Spurs, but nah. I think if Jose gets rid of him as well, you know, he's definitely not a good defender. A lot of people not saying Aki. Oblivion says, nope, Lindelof is better than Aki and Maguire. Wow, big statement that. Negative on Aki, 41 million, never. And Zayn Miasi spends all of his wages on super chats. LOL. Flex47 says, like, share, and subscribe. Nearly 17,000 people watching live. Make sure you hit a like on the video and share the video, and make sure you guys are subscribed. And to finish off on Aki, he's just gone out the picture there. Yeah, not for me. I'm not having it. But do we need to get this centre half? I mean, that's one thing I do want to discuss. I want to get onto Jesse Lingard in a bit as well, and talk about some other transfer bits. But how important is it that we fix the centre back situation? Let's get into that, because I actually feel that Lindelof's been unfairly treated. Personally, I think he's a good player. I think he's a steady player. And I think he puts in way more good performance than he puts in bad. I just think that sometimes when he comes up a little bit short, it's usually through something that is a kind of one-off mistake. But Maguire's done that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like because we've spent 85 million on Maguire and he's our captain, we want to refrain from labeling any criticism at him. Do you know what I mean? I think I do see that. I don't think people really want to go in on Maguire because he's the captain and he's new. Whereas Lindelof, I feel, is the easy target. So I don't really like all that, to be honest. You know, here he is, right on cue. Flex, what's your predictions for the final? Aubameyang 4 goals and Luiz's own goal hat trick. I think Arsenal are going to lose. I want Arsenal to lose. And them end up with nothing for the season. Trying to fly through you guys' super chats here before we carry on the conversation. Philip Burtonwood says Koulibaly would come with a massive price tag, plus he's 29. Now we need someone younger. Yeah, I almost think Koulibaly's ship has sailed as well. I know Saeed is adamant on Koulibaly. He's saying you'll see the best of Harry Beckenbauer, Baresi, bloody Maldini. You'll see the best of him if we go and get a Koulibaly. But I think that ship sailed. I can't see Ollie bringing in someone that old. I think Ollie's trying to build out the youngsters and get a new project going. I can't see that personally. Someone else was the latest member of the United Stand community. That is Raul, new member. Big up yourself. Alec Williams says, I think Lindelof has come on leaps and bounds, to be fair. Absolutely. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think he's been pretty solid this year. Johnny Moss says, Flex, why is Declan Rice not high priority? I like Declan Rice as a player. I think at one stage, I think everyone said he was overrated and he wasn't this and he wasn't that. And I think kind of the proposed, I don't know, price tags around Declan Rice kind of made it so that people were like, don't want him, don't want him, don't want him anywhere near the squad. I think he's overrated. And what we've seen is if you actually watch Declan Rice this year, you see his strengths, man. He can play ball. He gets about the pitch. He's good in the tackle. Keeps it simple. He played really well against us in both games as well, even at the London Stadium. So I really like Declan Rice. I do. The only thing is the price. I think Declan Rice is probably worth 40 to sort of 55 million pounds. But West Ham are never going to sell him to us than that. Someone said to me the other day in a comment that David Moyes wouldn't even sell as a sandwich, or a hot dog or something like that. And it's true. But I would have him. I would have him all day long. Is he definitely better than Matic yet? On par with Matic. I think if he came into our team right now, we wouldn't have an awful midfield. He wouldn't weaken us that bad. So I would definitely go for Declan Rice in the future. Would I take him this summer? Yeah, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Trying to get this super chat read out. Then it says, with a faster partner to Maguire or Lindelof, United can play a high line with an offside trap, knowing that if they're in trouble, they can recover. I mean, that's been the biggest thing. We've seen quick forwards get at Maguire and Lindelof. That's one thing I'm not blessed with is his exceptional pace, especially Maguire. I mean, sometimes his turn of pace really is shocking, but he gets away with it because his positioning is usually very, very good. Actually, I know we spoke about Raul Jiminez earlier, but some people have been talking about now, obviously with Bournemouth going down, Josh King. Now, we went in for Josh King in January when we ended up with a Garlo, and it was going to happen. It's just that Bournemouth wanted too much money. I can't see it happening. No. Let me rephrase that. I don't think it should happen. I think with the levels that we're looking at, no disrespect to Josh King, I don't want to romanticize and just bring him back just because he used to play for us. I'm not having that. Willy Bolly, no chance, just as slow as Maguire for me. Mengi and Tuanzebe, look, hopefully Mengi can get some game time. Ethan Laird can get some game time. Tuanzebe is a weird one because you're just not sure when he's gonna get to play. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something really weird's happening. The super chats just disappearing before I even get a chance to get them up. Luke Hembry says, Fletch, enjoying your content recently. Could you do some watch-alongs next season? You come across really well. Thanks for the contribution there, bro. Watch-alongs is not really my thing, man. You guys who watch the content that I do, I'm out there on the ground. I'm in the thick of it. I'm in with the fans. I'm in the stadiums. I love the atmosphere. I'm a field reporter guy, I suppose. And Mark is the king of watch-alongs, man. That's his thing. A lot of people saying no to Josh King. Josh King to Banter FC. Zane can buy him. Josh King says Jamie. And Murray says, Flex, love the debate on Triple H Sport with you, Robbie and Rory when you talked about the best breakout this season. Yeah, that was a really good chat. I backed it, guys. I was saying Sancho's the best teenager in the league, along with Phil Foden. Yeah, I was. Kanate or Upamecano. Upamecano is always on someone's lips. He looks like a really good player at RB. And it's gone a bit quiet on him. I definitely would take him, but Arsenal seem to think they got a chance with him as well. I wanted to talk about Diogo Jota, actually. Isaac Fernandez. I rate Jota. I would take him as well. I wanted to go on to a little bit about Jesse Lingard. I'd see him do a thing with Maya Jama, and big up to Jordy putting him up. And look, he's put a heartfelt message out on Instagram and Twitter talking about his journey. And, when I spoke to Troy Deeney earlier in the season, during lockdown, he spoke about, when Jesse's ready to speak about certain things, he will. And we're slowly starting to see Jesse talk about his feelings, talk about what's been going on. We could tell that we all know he hasn't been playing well. He hasn't been good enough for a year and a half. We know that. And his home situation is really, really taken to him. And look, I'm a big advocate of mental health. I am. And it's important to talk about these things. And I think with Jesse Lingard, what we're seeing is a player or a person, forget the player, a person He's clearly going through personal issues, which, to be honest with you, can affect your line of work, especially if you're a professional footballer. Having said that, it's all about where we're at. I mean, I want the best for Jesse Lingard. I like Jesse Lingard as a person. I've come across him and spoke to him many a times. He's a great guy. But I look at it and think, well, then maybe the best thing for him and the club would be to move on so that he could actually get that game time to resurrect his career, because it would be amazing if he could do it at Manchester United. It would be amazing if he came back in pre-season, was brilliant and upped it, where, you know, he was as putting up numbers like Bruno, or putting up numbers like Mason Greenwood on the right-hand side, or putting up numbers like Rashford. But at the moment, it's not really happening for Jesse. And the players that have come in to replace him so far have looked better than him, have looked way better than him. So I think it's really interesting what's going to happen, because look, the thing he done with My Jam was really, really deep. He was basically saying that his mum had depression. She went to London to go and get it sorted, and he had to look after his young siblings. I think they were 12 and 15, and that's a lot of pressure. You know, a lot of pressure to have to do that. And I know that he's been through a lot. He has been through a lot. I understand that, but where do we draw the line as a club by saying, do we keep Jesse because of the romanticizing about it, and hope he comes good because we want him to, and back him because he's a United lad, he come through the academy? Or do we say to Jesse, I tell you what, the best thing for you to do is I can't see him going out on loan, because I don't see any value in that. There's only value in that for Jesse Lingard. But do we say you need to leave because, one, if Solskjaer sits him down and says, I can't guarantee you playing time, you know, he wasn't used for large parts of the back end of the season, a mixture between what was going on. Maybe Ollie should have just said, I tell you what, Jesse, you're going through some stuff. Maybe just keep training, but just don't be in the matchday squad. Just take some time out. Maybe Ollie should have said that. But then Ollie did give him his chance. Ollie played him a lot. He gave Jesse Lingard a lot of chances today. And this season, and he hasn't been at it. So away from the personal situation that Jesse has shared with us, it's out there in the public. Of course, we feel for him. We want him to get through it. And you don't ever want to see someone saying, I feel like I've lost myself and it's affected me. And God knows only how he's been in his life away from, just because we see him smiling and doing J-Lings and doing, launching his brand. It doesn't mean that everything's rosy. I think everyone gets into that misconception of that. And I 100% get that. I mean, when I spoke to Jesse in Bruges, in the hotel in Belgium, I said, look, we know you're going through a rough time. I said, I'm going to make sure that people don't ridicule you and show disrespecting, calling you a clown and calling you an idiot or a dickhead or whatever you might want to say. It doesn't need to get personal, but we're going to criticize your performance, Jesse, as long as you're playing. And he completely got it. Don't think that Jesse Lingard's sitting there saying, I don't even know why people are, on my back or whatever. He gets it as a professional footballer. But, we do sometimes forget that these guys are human. We do sometimes forget that they're just like you and I. They've got things going on at home, in their personal life, in their private life, in relationships, in family, in businesses. It could be their health. It could be anything, So we have to get the balance right. And I just want the best for Jesse, to be fair. I have always maintained this. I still think Jesse is way better than what he's showing us now. I 100%. I don't think Lingard's been space jammed where, that little purple patch he had about 18 months ago, nearly 2 years ago, where he was brilliant. He's got ability. This is a player who played in a World Cup semi-final with England, had a good tournament. He's got a good football brain. He's got a good touch. There is a player in Lingard. I just don't think that he's going to be able to regurgitate that player at United. I just think he's going to go. I think the best thing for him to do is go, because I don't see how Ollie guarantees him game time. So if you bring Sancho into that team, where's Jesse Lingard going to play in the front three? He's never going to play. He's never going to play ahead of Rashford. He's never going to play ahead of Sancho on the right-hand side. He's not even going to play ahead of Mason on the right-hand side. You can talk about the number 10. He's never going to play ahead of Bruno, but if there's an injury, you can talk about bringing in Lingard. But it's a big ask. It's a big, big ask. And the way that we potentially might strengthen, you might bring in a Grealish or a Van der Beek or an attacking midfielder of some sort, then Jesse goes further down the pecking order. So I just can't see it. Alec Williams says, I just love football being good in general sometimes. I'm not really sure what he means by that. I'm going to go through some of you guys' super chats. They're not all there to bring up on the screen. Zayn Miassi is there as per usual. Koulibaly has 5 years left. He's an athlete. If you get him, you could win the league. Oh, it's actually a compliment from Zayn. Let's have a look at some more here. Long John Silver, thanks for the contribution. He says, or she says, Flex, is bedding in Mason now out of the question? What do you mean bedding in Mason? I think we are bedding him in. I think we've proved that he's been brilliant. Mason Greenwood, I think he's bedded in. I think he's sitting in his king size bed, completely bedded in. To be honest with you, I think that's it for the super chats. That was my thoughts on Jesse Lingard. To be honest, I just think he's done. I do. I just think it's better for him to move on. Ruben Neves is an interesting one. Hold tight, Christian Duplessis. I like Ruben Neves a lot. He can play deep, can play more advanced than like a number 10. He'd be brilliant in our midfield. I think he keeps the ball simple, great range of passing. He moves well. I think he's all right. I think he's a good player. But again, are we going to go for him? I can't see it. Why not Ndidi instead of Rice, says Jose Sebi. I'll take Ndidi as well. I don't really see the Indeed, he just about shades it, you could say, but there's not huge amounts in it. There's not huge amounts in that at all. I agree with Flex, and Mark will agree with you. Big up for that. Wolves won't sell Neves at all. I can't see it. What about Van der Beek? Great player, great technical player. And I think with the Grealish interest cooling, which we saw, Mark covered that a couple of days ago, yesterday. Maybe we could go in for a Van der Beek. He's a lot cheaper as well. Do you know what I mean? What do you think of Milankovic Savic? I mean, I remember being on tour last year and it was Milankovic Savic. Even the season before, I think it was Savic. That's definitely a boat that has sailed. Yo, Fleck, is the Sancho deal confirmed? If you're just tuning in, the Sancho deal is not confirmed. There was just a report in the Independent that was basically saying that Dortmund are willing to accept 60 million up front and then go from there in terms of add-ons, to be honest. I'm wearing the same shirt as you, Flex, says MSK117. Big up yourself. I love this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts. I can't wait for the shirt to come out in August. Big up Flex, says Darth Moore deserved better. Big up yourself as well. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. There was one other thing I was going to talk about. Someone just said, how about Todd Cantwell? Todd Cantwell. I like Todd. Good player. Good guy. I spoke to him a couple of times. He's a cool guy. And Jamal's a good player as well. You're looking at Max Aarons at Norwich. Because if you're looking at, actually, before I go, let's talk about that. Out of any of the relegated teams, right, this will be the last topic. Out of any of the relegated teams, who would you guys take? So from Bournemouth, Watford, and Norwich, what players do you think we could go for and that could get into our squad? And I'm not really sure, to be honest. If I look at Bournemouth, Aki was probably one that you might take a gamble on for 20 mil, but not 41. Josh King, I've had my say on that. I think that ship sailed. Callum Wilson, I don't think works. I wouldn't go for Brooks or Fraser went anyway. So no one really at Bournemouth. Watford, Decore, Delafeo, Ismail Sarr. Samson says Sarr. Again, I wouldn't mind Sarr. I think he's got potential. Godfrey, he's done really well. I think he'll definitely get a move from Norwich. Buendia, good little player. would he get into our team? I've got to say he's better than probably Pereira. Max Aarons is another one. Got a few people close to Max Aarons, and there's a little bit of movement there. Talks of him potentially going to Bayern Munich as well. Interesting. Only 20 million as well. I'll take Aarons, Cantwell, Aki, but all these, as said, rotational. The thing is, if we go and got Max Aarons, you got Wan-Bissaka right back, you got Luke Shaw left back. They're just not going to play, and they're so young. They want to play. Todd could come, but I just don't know if it might be a step up too much for him at this stage. He could definitely play in the Premier League, though, Todd. I'd love to see him play in the Premier League. Jamal as well. Want to see my boy Jamal play in the Premier League. Is Jamal better than Brandon? Brandon Williams? I'd say it's a fair shout. It's a fair shout. They're on par. I would say. Some people might say, "Oh, you're just saying that because you know him." I'm not. If I look at Brandon Williams and I look at Jamal Lewis, I think if you put Jamal into our team, I think he could perform. Max Aarons is overrated, says Peter Akintunde. Decore, I would leave right now. I would leave because I feel like the Decore of 18 months ago at Watford was a lot better than he is now. Got a few Watford friends, and they say to me that everybody wants Decore, but if you watch him, he's just not that guy anymore. Deulofeu, I do like Deulofeu. I think there's a player in there. He did well at Everton when he was on loan. He's done well in spells at Watford. I think maybe he just didn't suit Watford because of the type of battle they were up against in terms of fighting for their Premier League status. I don't see Deulofeu as a person who's going to dig in and get you out of a relegation scrap. But he got a big injury, so yeah. And Stanislas, nah, I wouldn't have that. I would not have that. Cantwell again. Aarons is very, very overrated. A lot of people not really rating him. There you go. Listen, guys, we've come to the end of the show. I think we've got up to like 17,000 people watching. Love that. Thanks for having me in place of Mark. Mark probably is drunk now. I'll probably check my WhatsApp after this and see drunken videos of him proper mash up wherever he is with the family. Make sure you keep it locked to the United Stand. We've got plenty more videos coming out tomorrow as well. Nearly on the road to 800,000 subscribers. Look at that. Absolutely killing it. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel, The Flex, as well. And check me out across my social media platforms, Flex UTD, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And more importantly, make sure you subscribe to the United Stand. If you're not, hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. And smash a like on the video. Hold tight. And as he says, keep going. Sally says, cheers, Flex. Great job tonight. Big up yourself. And I am out of it. I'm going to get a nice little drink, actually. And chill out for the rest of the evening. Take care, people. See you later. Bye.